WebEx and things, but that's where we are. But it's wonderful that the technology can bring us all together from all around the world. My name is Jim Wynn, and I'm the CEO of Imagine Education. And also at this ceremony is Adrian Blight, who, together with Baldev, built Imagine Education some 20 years ago. The three of us actually met at John Cabot School in Bristol in 2001. Back then, we really started to work with the British Council, and it was because of the innovative work going on at the school, such as, believe it or not, 20 years ago, doing video conferencing lessons between different schools. And the British Council asked us to talk about our work on a project that was called the Wired Communities Project in places like Russia, the Middle East and India. And the staff in the school, including Baldev and Adrian, with some other teachers, wrote a lot of lesson plans for the British Council on a portal called Montage. In fact, Baldev wrote so many that he bought a really nice dining room table and chairs from his payments. It's quite a swanky table, I tell you. When Adrian and Baldev left teaching, they formed Imagine Education, and they continued to work with the British Council on a number of different projects, from training trainers to experimenting with novel approaches to capturing student data. And they did that all around the world. And in fact, I've actually lost track of the number of countries Baldev worked in, but I think the only continent he actually didn't ever get to was Antarctica, but he got everywhere else. His travel and his work with teachers on the ground is actually vast. But he not only worked in classrooms, but he influenced governments, and together with Adrian, they wrote countrywide education plans and education technology plans in countries all around the world. All of you on this call will know firsthand that the British Council have been influencing and delivering innovative and high quality programs for much longer than 20 years. But the common goals that Baldev shared with the British Council meant that he created a deep bond between many people, in the UK, India, Africa, and the Middle East, in fact, wherever he worked. So it's really fitting that Imagine Education and the British Council have partnered together to create this new award. I don't know if you know, but Baldev won the UK's Innovative Teacher of the Year award, I think it was 2005, not just because of his innovative work on a really groundbreaking project called the e-Citizenship Programme, but because of the impact his innovations had on learning and the consequential achievement of his students. It's all about impact could well be the motto for the British Council and everything that Baldev and Imagine Education stand for. It's all about impact. That's a really important phrase to remember. So the Baldev Singh Impact Award is really aptly named. What we wanted to do with the British Council is to find an educator who has had a clear impact in what they do. Somebody like Baldev, somebody that makes a difference. And we want to find somebody who is passionate about teaching and learning, and it's really making a difference to the lives of learners. And I don't just mean students, I mean students and educators as learners. The quality of the applications was amazing. There's clearly a lot of people like you making a difference out there. And I tell you, it was really difficult to pick a winner. So if you're not a winner today, please be proud of being part of this ceremony, as we know that you are all clearly having an impact through the work that you do. So don't ever, if you don't win, it's important that you continue to make a difference. So with no further ado, I'll hand over to Susan, who's going to talk about the shortlist of candidates for the award. So over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Jim. And good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's really fantastic to see so many friends and colleagues from all over the world coming together to celebrate this award. Just before I start, I echo everything that Jim has said. It's such a strange time in our lives, and I don't know about you at the moment, but there are mornings I wake up and I feel a bit flat because it's another day where things aren't changing. We're inside our homes. We're maybe not as connected as we usually are. When I woke up this morning and I thought, I wonder, what have I got on in my diary today? And remembered that it was the Baldev Singh Impact Award and was instantly filled with energy. And that's something that Baldev did for us all. He filled us with energy. we all have our stories about Baldev, but if I can just tell one short one, which was part of our, when we took part in one of our Indian school weeks, we'd worked hard from Monday to Thursday, delivering sessions together. And at the end of the Thursday evening, we collapsed in a heap. And one of our colleagues said to us, we've just got a few teachers tomorrow that aren't going till lunchtime. Do you think you could do something with them, tomorrow? We said, how many have you got? 140, they said. For 3 hours between 9 till 12, I'm sure you two can think of something. And we sat for a moment, and then Baldev said, shall we do this? Of course, we were full of energy, and I think this morning, this award ceremony will fill us with energy, as Baldev always did. So it gives me enormous pleasure to introduce to you this year's finalists, all of whom have worked with the British Council for a long time, and I think that we count ourselves as lucky that they're not only brilliant facilitators, but for many of us, they've become brilliant friends. So firstly, Alfred Okello, who's been a British Council facilitator in Uganda for the last 17 years. I'm just going to pause and hope that we can just unmute just briefly and have a little round of applause for Alfred. Alfred, congratulations for being one of our first finalists. Over the world, Alfred. 17 years, Alfred has worked with the British Council, delivering programmes covering all the different strands of work that we have delivered: school leadership, global citizenship, school partnerships, core skills, and instructional leadership. And Alfred has also been a school leader for the last 20 years, playing a really critical role in mentoring and coaching fellow school leaders and teachers under the renowned Association of Secondary School Head Teachers of Uganda. In the association, he served in various capacities, including National Vice Chairperson in charge of ICT and professional development. And he's committed to sharing his experiences and bringing a wealth of expertise from his long service in the education sector. My view is that Alfred always has and always brings with him a quiet wisdom, which is both reassuring and empowering for those who are lucky enough to work with him. And it's always a real pleasure. So Alfred is our first finalist. Secondly, Florence Sembatia. So let's have a little virtual round of applause for Florence. Florence, Uganda is coming out strong this year in the awards because she's our second finalist from Uganda. And Florence has been a Connecting Classrooms facilitator there for the last 9 years. Florence has led on mentoring on the Kampala City Council Authority Programme Girls Empowering Girls under the Trailblazers Mentoring Foundation, and is a real advocate for gender equality, so flying the flag for women as well this morning. She's made valuable contributions as a member of the Gender Committee of the Ministry of Education and Sport, and taken a really leading role in developing materials such as the Gender in Education policy. She's also a retired Principal Education Officer for the Ministry of Education and Sports, and most importantly, an educator with a passion for working with young people, who brings light, as far as I'm concerned, into every room she enters. So congratulations to our second finalist, Florence. Thirdly, our third finalist is Jonah Mungoshi, who is one of our, again, a very experienced facilitator, working in Zimbabwe for the last 14 years with the British Council. Jonah is a really dynamic speaker and an award-winning international consultant. Since 2013, he's been on motivational, inspirational radio programs, which I've heard a couple of, and his work includes life skills training for school students and which draws inspiration really from the Connecting Classrooms program. Jonah has trained in lots of our countries across sub-Saharan Africa, but also in other regions of the world on behalf of the program. And I think it's safe to say that you can't ignore Jonah. His energy is both irrepressible and irresistible. And Jonah will always take something in its original form and then work out how to take it to the next level. So I'm delighted to introduce you to our third finalist, Jonah. Oh, I didn't do the round of applause. Jonah, round of applause for Jonah. And finally, Dr. Manya or work with Yorko, I did not say that well, or Doc, as he is fondly known by the master trainers, who is the lead consultant for the British Council in Kenya, working there for some 10 years, as well as many other countries across SSA. Again, Doc has done lots of training for us and supported a lot of policy work in a number of different countries. He's a really respected expert in the practice of supporting teachers to innovate and strengthen their pedagogy, and is extremely committed and passionate in terms of sharing his knowledge and fostering communities of practice for as many teachers as possible. Doc also has an international profile, having been a fellow at the Harvard Graduate School of Education and a board member of the Global Action Plan International, which supports education for sustainable development. Currently, he's the Vice Principal for Outreach and Professional Development for the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, where for the last 16 years, he has supported the government's curriculum reforms in coastal counties. So a round of applause for him. And a round of applause for all of our finalists from around the world. Amazing. Without further ado now, it gives me great pleasure to pass over now to Nina, to Baldev's wife, who is going to tell us a little bit about our winner.
Thank you, Susan. Last year, when the British Council announced that they were going to have an award in Baldev's memory, I was absolutely thrilled and excited. And when Susan Douglas asked me to be on the judging panel, to be involved with the selection process, I had to say yes. Over the years, Baldev worked with the British Council on various projects. I had never seen Baldev deliver training before, and always wondered what it was like to be in one of his sessions, because he would always come back afterwards and tell me that the training went really well and the overall feedback was good. In 2009, I got the opportunity to observe one of Baldev's training sessions in Kolkata, India. The session was going really well. Everyone was engaged and concentrating on what Baldev had to say. Halfway through the training, a sort of scuffling sound could be heard from the air conditioning unit. Baldev stopped to listen and then carried on training. All of a sudden, there was a very loud screeching noise and the front cover of the air conditioning unit fell down, quickly followed by a large cat-like creature dropping onto the floor. The scared creature started running around the room. At this point, there was a lot of shouting, screaming, and scrambling happening, as you can imagine. Eventually, security came and somehow managed to capture the creature and take it away. Baldev cracked a joke, which calmed everyone down, and the session carried on. At the end of the training, Baldev walked over to me and in a very quiet voice said, "This sort of thing never happens when you're not here." I would like to thank the British Council for creating this wonderful award in Baldev's honour. It means a lot to all of us. I would also like to say a huge thank you to the applicants who took part. It was very difficult to come up with just one winner. You are all doing some amazing and exciting work. The impact of your work has on students, trainers, and your countries will be seen for many, many years to come. So well done. And now the reason that we're all here, a big round of applause for the winner of the Baldev Singh Impact Award is Jonah Mungoshi. We'd like to say hello, Jonas.
Well, I'm shocked, to say the least. I did not expect this at all. I'm really honored to have this award. I was telling my wife that, who's here with me, that, well, I'm attending this, but I'm certain I did not win it. I'm moved. Right now, within a matter of weeks, actually, I am launching something really significant. Susan might know, I was ill a few weeks ago, and my whole family was ill, and we really believed we had the COVID. And we went into self-isolation before the government even introduced that. And I reflected on my life, and one of the most important realizations was that I haven't made the impact in the world that I'm capable of making, looking at the talents that God has given me, the skills that I possess, the knowledge that I have. And so in that moment, and well, my wife Ethel is hearing this for the first time, I decided to start something that I'll call the Positive Impact Movement. And I'm actually preparing what I call the Positive Impact Manifesto, to be translated into as many languages as possible. And basically, this is informed by the British Council enterprise skills model, where I'm looking at inspiring as many people as possible in the world to take initiative, to be resourceful, and to make positive changes in three main areas, to do with employability, to do with enterprise, to do with entrepreneurship, and social development. So thank you very much. It's an honor. It was a great honor to have had the few occasions that I was in the presence of Baldev. He indeed was a great man. And for me, the most important lesson that I learned from him is how he combined exceptional ability with incredible humility. And that's something I'll always emulate. Thank you very much. And to the fellow competitors, it is an honor to have been on this panel with you. And to the trainers and the master trainers and everyone in the British Council, you're really a great family. And I'm so proud and so happy and so excited that I'm part and parcel of this group of people that are making positive changes in the world. Thank you.
I think we're going to pass over to Darren now for a few words.
Hello, just checking you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm really moved and honoured to be saying a few words at this ceremony in honour of Baldev. Baldev really was an inspirational educator. He worked with ceaseless energy to really deliver life-changing projects around the world and to support our work as the British Council. I was really honoured to meet Baldev and work with him. We spent time together in the UK and overseas in India. One particular session really sticks in my mind. We spent quite a bit of time together, and I was really struck by the passion and the belief that Baldev had that anything was really possible. And I think we can reflect now as British Council and imagine on the work that Baldev's done, the fact his work has touched the lives of thousands, hundreds of thousands of students and educators around the world. And so I'm really delighted that this award has been created in Baldev's memory, and that we will be presenting it on an annual basis. A huge congratulations to all those who were shortlisted, and particularly to Jonah, but we recognise all of the work that all of our trainers do around the world, and we hope to continue to support that work on an ongoing basis through programmes like the Connecting Classrooms programme and all the schools work that the British Council is involved in. We have a network of over 500 trainers now across more than 40 countries around the world, and that number is growing literally by the day. It's a family that Baldev has brought together and helped us to grow, and it's a family that Baldev continues to inspire. The network is absolutely essential to the Connecting Classrooms programme and other initiatives that the British Council is involved in around the world. The programme, our work in education and the Connecting Classrooms programme literally do not operate without this network of master trainers, facilitators, and the quality, professionalism, and the commitment of the network really shines through brightly in all of the evaluation that we ever do on any of our education programs. And it's really the trainers, the master trainers, the facilitators who are helping us make that difference. Now, we're in slightly surreal times, and there's a real light being shone on technology and digital. the way it's bringing us together today, and in a lot of the work that we're continuing to deliver despite lockdown and the restrictions posed by COVID-19. And it's really testament to Baldev's work and his commitment to that agenda of education and technology, that this agenda, that we're prepared for this agenda through the Connecting Classrooms programme, and that agenda is important and even more important going into the future. So Baldev's impact really lives on. I'll come back to that word impact that Jim mentioned earlier on. It really does encapsulate what Baldev is all about. His impact really lives on in terms of how he helped us bring together this network of trainers and master trainers and facilitators. It was Baldev who really helped us set the standards and the competencies that we expect our trainers and master trainers and facilitators to meet, and that all of you are upholding and are really shining through. And you're doing that across an amazing range of really highly important educational priorities for the British Council's work and that of many educational systems around the world, in core and transferable skills, in leadership, in enterprise, gender and inclusive pedagogies. And the list is growing, and we're really excited about moving into new and exciting areas as we develop the next iteration of the Connecting Classrooms programme from 2021 onwards. I'll just finish with a few more words to really evoke, hopefully, the energy, enthusiasm, the commitment and dedication of Baldev to impact and helping to achieve learning outcomes for young people, and especially those young people around the world who don't normally get access to the type of learning that we embrace. So a huge thank you from me as the Global Programme Director for Connecting Classrooms to all of our network of trainers, master trainers and facilitators around the world. Please keep helping us to reach the parts of the world that other educational initiatives do not reach, and provide those opportunities for young people around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren. And just to round us off, I think it's really exciting that Imagine Education have very generously given a prize for Jonah, for our winner this year of £1,000, which can be used for a professional development of his choice, and we'll be working with Jonah to find a really good opportunity for him to use that. And then what will be lovely, I think, is that we intend to share the story of his journey with that and what he learns from that with all of the other master trainers and trainers that are on the call today, and also the ones that couldn't join us. All of the finalists will receive a plaque. So those will be winging their way to you. I think everything might be slightly delayed at the moment, but they will get there, and they will be hopefully a memento of this, the very first year of the Baldev Singh Impact Award, because we do intend to run it again next year. This isn't a one-off event. This is going to be an annual event. So if you weren't one of the lucky finalists this time, please do keep thinking and keep remembering the stories of impact that you are creating as you do your work around the globe, so that you are ready to submit them to us next year. And that's it for this morning, our very first virtual award ceremony. Thank you so much to everybody that's joined. A huge congratulations to everybody that entered. As everybody said, it was very difficult to make our selection. Huge congratulations to our finalists. And once more, a huge congratulations to Jonah this morning. And thank you to everybody that's joined us.
Sama Mike. Mbie. Ilikuwa ni ceremony ya tulikuwa top 4 finalist wanne. Lakini jamaa wa Zimbabwe amechukua. Dunia nzima. Atushamaliza, niambie. Tunamaliza. Tunaona inasema. Je, amefanya 17 years. Mimi nimefanya 10 years peke yake. Of course. Lakini sasa tumekuwa recognize. Ngoja ni stop.